Most people equate a really high income with being wealthy. But true wealth, it's actually about playing a completely different game. It's a game where you stop working for your money and your money absolutely starts working for you. Welcome to this explainer. Today we are going to completely shatter the myth that a flashy lifestyle equals true wealth. If you've ever found yourself wondering why the rich seem to just keep getting richer, literally making money while they sleep, well, it all comes down to a fundamental shift in how they view the world. They understand a set of rules that most of us are just never taught. So if you want to learn this exact shift, you are in the right place. Let's dive right in.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the true definition of wealth, look at why saving cash is actually a trap, open up the productive arsenal of the wealthy, examine the cash flow loop, and finally, cover how you can start building assets from absolute scratch.
All right, Section 1, the true definition of wealth. Let's look at assets versus liabilities. The fundamental rule that separates the wealthy from the middle class is actually beautifully simple. Look, most people think being rich means owning massive houses, driving luxury cars, or wearing designer clothes. But the wealthy, they know a secret. Poor people buy liabilities, middle-class people buy comfort, but rich people buy assets. We can completely forget all the complicated financial jargon here. An asset is simply something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That's really it. It is literally a money in versus money out equation. Wealthy people are relentlessly focused on acquiring things that make them more money, effectively replacing their own daily labor with automated systems.
To make this concrete, the whole difference really comes down to depreciation versus appreciation. Take the average spender. They go out and buy a brand new luxury car or the newest iPhone. But the second you drive that car off the lot or tear the plastic off that iPhone box, it loses value. It's a liability. Conversely, the wealthy investor goes out and buys a rental property or stock portfolio. These things generate income for years. They literally pay you every single month. Instead of spending money on things that drain their bank accounts, wealthy people spend their money on things that pay them back.
Moving right along to Section 2, the cash trap. Let's talk about why the wealthy avoid keeping cash.
So there's this massive misconception out there that wealthy people just have millions of dollars sitting idly in checking accounts. But in reality, saving cash is a massive trap. And it's all because of inflation. Think about it. Every single year, your dollar buys a little bit less. Inflation slowly but surely eats away the purchasing power of your money. If your cash is just sitting there in a traditional savings account, you aren't actually keeping it safe. You are slowly, mathematically becoming poorer over time.
And that brings us to a really important question. If cash is constantly losing value, why do the wealthy avoid keeping it? And more importantly, what on earth do they do with it instead? If they aren't hoarding cash in bank vaults like Scrooge McDuck, where is all their money going to beat this invisible tax of inflation? The answer requires a total mindset shift. See, the average person saves money to protect it. But the wealthy investor, they invest money to multiply it. Wealthy people move their cash as quickly as possible out of depreciating bank accounts and directly into appreciating assets. They want things that will grow in value, produce steady income, and outpace inflation. Saving simply protects what you have, but investing is the only real way to multiply it. Okay, Section 3, the productive arsenal. We're going to break down stocks, real estate, and businesses. These are the concrete money-printing machines wealthy investors use to replace their own hard work. First up, we have stocks and index funds, particularly the S&P 500. Now, the wealthy generally aren't day trading. No, they are buying long-term ownership in powerhouse companies like Apple, Amazon, and Google. Historically, the S&P 500 averages around a 10% annual return. Through the magic of compound interest, consistent small investments snowball into massive wealth over decades. Second, we have real estate. The wealth lever here is just incredible because it works in multiple ways. You get monthly cash flow from tenants, the actual property appreciates in value, and you get tax advantages. Plus, you can use bank leverage, which means you're literally using other people's money to buy the asset. Pretty smart, right? Finally, businesses. Whether it's e-commerce, software, or a personal brand, a regular job trades your time for money, but a business scales infinitely. It generates automated income 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I absolutely love this quote from the source material. The wealthy build machines that print money, and those machines are called assets. Really think about that for a second. A wealthy person might work incredibly hard at the beginning to build a business or acquire a real estate portfolio, but eventually, the system takes over. The system generates the income without requiring their constant daily labor. That right there is the true power of an asset.
Which leads us to Section 4, the cash flow loop, and how this strategy actually funds your freedom.
So what's the ultimate goal of acquiring all these assets? Well, it's definitely not about looking rich on social media. It's about mastering the delayed gratification loop to achieve real financial freedom. Here is how they do it. Step 1, buy assets first. Step 2, allow those assets to generate cash flow. Step 3, buy luxuries using only the profits from those assets. This is the exact opposite of what the middle class does. The average spender wants a luxury car, so they finance it immediately with debt, trapping themselves in a cycle of paying for a liability. But the wealthy investor, they buy a cash-flowing asset first, and then let that asset pay for the luxury car. It's a completely different way of operating.
And that leads to this fascinating, kind of mind-bending paradox. Real wealth is invisible. So many people stay financially stuck because they're constantly buying liabilities just trying to look rich to their neighbors. But many actual millionaires, they don't look rich at all. They prioritize ownership over appearance.
They care about the assets they own behind the scenes, not the rapidly depreciating car parked in their driveway. Look at it this way. If your living expenses are $5,000 a month, but your invisible assets generate $7,000 a month, you are financially free. Working literally becomes optional, and that is the real goal.
Finally, Section 5. How to start building assets, going from zero to investor. To make this shift from an earning to spend mindset to an earning to invest mindset, here are the concrete actionable steps you can take today. And no, you do not need millions to begin. First, increase your income. Learn valuable skills or start a side hustle. Second, spend less than you earn. When you get a raise at work, avoid lifestyle inflation. Don't just immediately upgrade to a more expensive apartment. Third, use that growing gap between what you earn and what you spend to buy assets consistently. Start investing in index funds. Start a small online business. Buy dividend stocks. The absolute key here is consistency. Wealth is built really slowly and strategically, right up until it suddenly looks incredibly fast to everyone else on the outside.
Rich people aren't financially free just because they earn more. They're free because they own more. So the very next time money hits your bank account, I want you to ask yourself a question. Will I spend this like a consumer, or will I invest this like the wealthy? That single, everyday decision is the difference between a lifetime of working for your money and a lifetime of your money working for you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.